A little bit about the Greening Richmond Public Libraries initiative. So the James River Association is working alongside Richmond Public Libraries, RVH2O, and Four Winds Design to design and install green infrastructure practices to manage stormwater at Broad Rock Branch, North Avenue Branch, and West End Branch this year. In-person and virtual design charrettes are scheduled during the month of July 2020 to solicit feedback on green infrastructure practices that could be implemented at those branches. And this is actually our final charrette. So woohoo!
Yeah.
They've been wonderful, and we've received a lot of feedback to date, and we're looking forward to taking all the feedback received and coming up with some awesome master plans for each of the 3 libraries. So what is stormwater pollution? Did you know that stormwater is a threat to the health of the James River and its tributaries? When rain falls on impervious surfaces such as roads or sidewalks, it becomes stormwater. If stormwater picks up pollutants such as dirt, nutrients from lawn fertilizer, bacteria from pet waste, or toxics like oil from cars as it flows across an impervious surface, it becomes stormwater pollution. And green infrastructure is a solution to that stormwater pollution. Green infrastructure practices include rain gardens, street trees, and conservation landscaping that enhance our built environment for the benefit of humans and the ecosystem of which we are a part. Green infrastructure contributes to healthier communities by absorbing stormwater before it enters our rivers and streams, improving air quality, and reducing the urban heat island effect. It also provides habitat for wildlife living among us. So some applicable green infrastructure practices that we will be discussing today include street trees, conservation landscaping, which consists of planting native herbaceous plants, shrubs, and trees, as well as bioretention areas and rain gardens. And the photos that you see on your screen were taken during a volunteer event at Westover Hills Branch Library last year. And you'll notice some street trees in the first photo, as well as conservation landscaping being installed, and then a rain garden in the second photo. Okay, so here's the site plan. And before we take our virtual tour of the library grounds, I just want to orient you. We have Warwick Road up here, Broad Rock Road right here, Old Warwick Road right here. The 2 primary entrances, vehicular entrances to the library are via Warwick Road right here and Old Warwick Road right here. We have a bus stop over here, and then sidewalk along Broad Rock Road and Warwick Road as well. We're going to begin our tour in the parking lot area of the library, and then move our attention to the main entrance of the library and work our way around the library in a clockwise fashion. Like Amber said, as you have questions or feedback to share, feel free to enter it into the chat box. All right. This is the Broad Rock Branch Library parking lot. There are 2 areas, a larger area and a smaller area over here. And like I said, this is one of the primary entrances for vehicular traffic coming into the library. We have a total of 33 parking spaces, 2 of which are handicapped. It's a relatively large impervious area, but you'll notice that there are a number of mature trees in this little median between the 2 parking lots in this little area, as well as to the right of the photo, which we're going to turn towards the library, the main entrance of the library right now. All right, so here's the main entrance of the library. The first thing that jumps out at me is that these trees really provide a lot of shade, and but at the same time, the main entrance to the library is not very obvious. There's not any sort of signage letting folks know that this is the main entrance to this library. We heard last night at the in-person design charrette that this pathway, which is a critical connection between the parking lot and the main entrance to the library, as you can tell, it's trodden. When it rains, this pathway gets submerged. Some ponding occurs in this general area. So that's something that we would like to take a look at as part of this project. 2 more photos of the main entrance to the library. This is the area to the right of the library doors. We've got a Japanese maple and some shrubs here, some turf here, and then another Japanese maple, some liripe in the foreground, non-native grass, and then some shrubs here. These shrubs are wonderful, but they do obstruct this library sign right here. So as you walk up to the library entrance, you're not seeing it until you reach more or less the door. All right. So again, we're working our way clockwise around the library. This is looking at the Warwick Road side of the library. Broad Rock Branch has wonderful space to work with. And this is a great photo that captures that space here. There's an outdoor seating area right here, affectionately known as Stonehenge by Heather Montgomery and her library staff. And you'll notice some trees that have been planted.
We also call it the Walmart symbol sometimes.
And so you'll notice some trees that have been planted here that'll provide more and more shade over time as they grow. I'm going to take us closer to this side of the library. All right. Again, you'll notice that the library sign on this side of the library is obstructed by these shrubs. So there's an opportunity to maybe do some trimming to make that library sign a little bit more visible. But what really stands out to me, and what really stood out to participants in yesterday evening's charrette, are the zinnias and sunflowers that have been planted in this general area, and then over here near the secondary entrance to the library. They provide some color that is largely absent from the library grounds, and we really appreciate that. Lisa, I know you played a role in planting the zinnias and the sunflowers.
Thank you.
So here we are, we're moving towards the Warwick Road entrance, or the secondary entrance to the library. It's important to note that this isn't an ADA accessible entrance to the library. The main entrance is the ADA accessible entrance to the library. Here we are, you can see some of the zinnias in the foreground here, complemented by, again, some non-native liripe. One thing I want to point out here, Heather and her staff informed us yesterday evening that this downspout produces a lot of water when it rains. So when we begin to talk about the site plan with Drew, this general area here has been identified as a preferred location for a bioretention area or rain garden. It just presents a lot of opportunity to absorb stormwater. And again, more beautiful zinnias. Working our way closer to Broad Rock Boulevard, we've got a bicycle rack here, which is wonderful. We want to be able to accommodate library visitors, not only coming by car, but by foot, by bike, and by bus. It was mentioned that we could install a small bicycle rack at the main entrance of the library as well. All right, now we're going to look along Broad Rock Boulevard here. You'll notice some power lines present a challenge for planting trees in this general area. But you will also notice that along the library building itself, nothing is planted there. It's empty space. It could be planted with something. Something's better than nothing in terms of absorbing stormwater. You'll also notice that this is where our GRTC bus stop is. There could be an opportunity to add a bench for public transportation users in this area. Like I said, we want to be able to accommodate all visitors, regardless of which mode of transportation they are taking to visit the library. Looking at the window that faces Broad Rock Boulevard, from what we were told yesterday evening, this is a window into the children's area. And this general area in the foreground could become a pollinator garden. Something that is educational to children inside the library, which is a pretty cool idea. So we're working our way around the library, and here we are at the rear of the library. We've got a very large grassy area here that presents some sort of opportunity. Again, this would be potentially an area that could become a pollinator garden for the children inside the library. But this general area, it's a very large grassy area. It's kind of underutilized on the library grounds. Closer to the library building, we noticed that we got 2 downspouts here. Well, 3 downspouts, but this one in particular doesn't appear to be draining away from the library. It looks like water is pooling in this area, and we made that determination just by looking at the mulch and the way that there was a depression in this general area. There appears to be some pooling happening in here. I point these downspouts out as they are opportunities for rainwater harvesting. And this area right here is just, could be a candidate for conservation landscaping too. All right. So that concludes our tour of the library grounds. In summary, the library provides important services to residents of the 8th and 9th districts. We heard that over and over again yesterday evening, that this is a very important place for people to come on a daily basis. Library signs at the main and secondary entrances are obstructed by landscaping. There are shrubs in front of them. The main entrance to the library is not welcoming. Existing trees on library grounds provide some shade and present an opportunity for the creation of a seating area near the main entrance of the library. The preferred buyer retention area is located near the Warwick Road entrance of the library. And like I said, Drew will tell us more about that when we look at the site plan. The library window facing Broad Rock Boulevard presents an opportunity for a pollinator garden. Opportunities to harvest stormwater from downspouts exist around the library. Better maintenance of existing trees and shrubs is needed. And the last thing I'll point out is that vehicular traffic on Warwick Road and Broad Rock Boulevard is noisy. So while Broad Rock has wonderful outdoor spaces, it is a little bit noisy, especially along Warwick Road and Broad Rock Boulevard.